I'm Denise Fortenberry, and I'm here today to talk about Cypress Pointe Surgical Hospital's corporate compliance program. If any of you have dealt in the healthcare field or really any business, they all have a compliance program in place today. So most of what you're going to hear is not any new information. The goals of our compliance program at Cypress Pointe are to provide reasonable assurance that Cypress Pointe complies in all material respects with all federal, state, and local laws and regulations that are applicable to our operations. We satisfy the conditions of participation in healthcare programs funded by state and federal government in the terms of its other contractual arrangements. This would be the Medicare, Medicaid program, and any of our insurance contracts that we would have. We detect and deter criminal conduct or other forms of misconduct by board members, officers, supervisors, employees, medical staff, and contractors that might expose the hospital to significant civil liability. We promote self-auditing and self-policing and provide for, in appropriate circumstances, voluntary disclosure of violations of laws and regulations. We establish, monitor, and enforce high professional and ethical standards. The elements of our compliance program are as follows. We have an established written code of conduct with written policies and procedures that govern the actions of all members of the hospital community. The codes of conduct are part of our HR program, and HR, Human Resources, would have covered that with you in your orientation. It's also in the policy manual on SharePoint under Human Resources if you need to refer back to it. We have the appointment of a chief compliance officer and a compliance committee that directs the hospital's compliance efforts. I'm the chief compliance officer, and our committee consists of the directors of information technology, health information management, our CFO, and our CNO. We have a maintenance process for members of the hospital community to report instances of possible non-compliance with applicable rules without fear of retaliation, and the adoption of procedures to protect the anonymity of the complainants. We have established a system to respond to and promptly report certain arrests, convictions, guilty pleas, or pleas of no contest involving officers, owners, supervisory employees, agents, and of its affiliates. We use an audit or review to assess compliance and assist in the reduction of identified problem areas. We have investigation and correction of identified systemic problems and development of policies addressing the non-employment or retention of sanctioned individuals. Our compliance program. We have a charter, its purpose, scope, and implementation of the compliance program, and this can be found on SharePoint as part of our policies and procedures under organizational rights and patient responsibilities, and it is PR000. We have a code of conduct we spoke about, standards with which hospital employees are expected to follow that we're going to review again. Policies and procedures, expected actions or work-related behaviors of all members of the hospital community. 3 of the main policies are RI 085, which is reporting criminal activity, RI 086, the monitoring of criminal activity, and HR 400, hiring and employee management compliance. The HR 400 states that prior to hiring, we have to check the federal databases to make sure that none of the potential hires are restricted from participating in any Medicare or Medicaid program. If they are, we are prohibited from hiring them in any facility that accepts federal funding. The RI 085 is our process for staff and board members, physicians, and other vendors of reporting criminal activity, and RI 086 is how we monitor that criminal activity. The code of conduct, antitrust, all members of the hospital community must comply with applicable antitrust and similar laws which regulate competition.